All right.
How are you?
Good, thank you, yourself.
Good evening, everybody. We're going to call the meeting of April 14th, 2022 to order. Jesse, have the roll call, please.
Mayor Siciliano?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani?
Here.
Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Donlin?
Here.
Fisher?
Here.
Notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice is sent to the Elgin Park Press Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 9th, 2021. Tonight we have items for discussion. Dave, we have some guests here, so I guess we want to start with that.
Yes, we'll start with COA Affordable Housing. And we have our Community Development Director here, Mr. Ron Kirk.
We're going to have a discussion with regard to Ocean Glades and its future. I'm going to call Mary Beth Lonergan, put her on the line. I believe you all know Nancy.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Jim.
Good to see you.
This is the new and improved Nancy.
Yes.
She comes with an
I have
extra.
a new knee.
Nice.
Life is good.
How's it came?
It's good. It's great.
Just
Hi, Mary Beth. Ron Kirk. I've got you on speakerphone.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Hi, Mary Beth.
Can I make a suggestion?
Just to remind some
Go.
and alert others, we are being filmed.
I don't know if Johnny's going to be able to hear her. Why don't we just dial her in from the real phone?
Because we only have John. Okay. This is Mary Beth.
Whatever you want me to do.
No, I'm saying, we could, the phone has 5 lines. You can conference people in.
I don't have that
You
skill
guys
set.
are fancy.
Yeah.
See, that's
I'd
why.
rather just leave
That's
it
why
where it
I'm
is,
here,
you know.
right?
IT guy.
If it works, it works. Go ahead.
Yep.
Let's see
Yeah,
if
I
this
think
works.
let's power through this one, and next time we'll do
We'll do a YouTube with Rob Chair.
I think just a quick disclaimer, as David mentioned, all workshop meetings are videotaped and recorded for future purposes, so just everybody be mindful of that, even though you don't see the camera, you are being televised, and so let's have our indoor camera behavior. Okay. Proper decorum at all time is all we ask for here at the meeting. Okay, with that, Dave?
Well, my question number one would be the path forward when it comes to complying with COA and also dealing with Ocean Glades as a township property presently. I need the governing body to give us direction as to where you would like to be, but I would like Nancy to give her opinion on the subject and Mary Beth Lonergan, our COA planner, to have a conversation. Mary Beth is normally the one who's the face of Ocean Township, so to speak, when it comes to dealing with fair share housing.
Right.
Mary Beth, would you like to give your opinion on the conversation with Ocean Glades?
Well, one thing before we start, we're in closed session, right?
No.
We're not in closed.
Oh, no, we need to
Okay.
do this in close.
This is
Okay,
closed
so
session.
before we do
Yeah.
that,
Hold on, Mary Beth.
new disclaimer known, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meeting Act, this meeting, Chapter 231 permits the exclusion of the public from meetings in certain circumstances, and the public bodies of opinion that
Usually
certain
don't do that.
circumstances exist. Now therefore be resolved, Township of Ocean, Monmouth County, public shall be excluded from all council action here on subject matters. General nature of the subject matters to be discussed are the C items 1, 2, and 3.
The only problem we have is we usually don't go back and forth. And the reason we don't go back and forth is if people are here for open, then you have to make them wait
Well,
outside. So
then we're just gonna continue through with our closed session, and then we'll probably pick this back up.
okay, I mean, I don't know, what do we have in open
You
then?
want to dispose of the
Do
other?
you
Yeah,
have
let's
any-
just-
Jack, do you have anything that you wanted to contribute tonight, or are you just here for the meeting?
I find these meetings are more informative than some of the ones that
Okay.
I'm willing
Yeah,
to
we
step
can
up
do
for
the
a few
open.
minutes if that helps
First,
you
if you
guys.
want.
Well, here's the thing, we're going to, and Ricky's here,
For the budget.
Let me plow through that then.
so Rick's gonna probably have to excuse too. For a little while.
Is-
If we're gonna do this, we're gonna go into close, we're gonna conclude all closed business, so it could be a good half hour, 45 minutes.
I can't stay that long, so I'm sorry, but I can't.
Okay,
Mary, you want to just do
Let's go through the open
the
stuff.
open stuff and then we
Okay.
can just
Yeah,
be
sure.
in closed?
okay.
Sounds good.
Mary
So Mary Beth, we'll call you back.
We're holding our closed resolution until we go through our items, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for catching that.
Yeah, sure. Just
My
wanna make sure.
impersonation of Gray Blash. We have engineering report. As you all aware, we have 409 grant, we have the road opening permit. Seems to be going well. Monmouth Builders sent several communications back and forth. Gray sent an April 1st letter that basically said you have to pay curb to curb. They basically have agreed to do curb to curb. Now there's a lot of back and forth intricacies going on, but they seem to have going to comply, so that's a good thing. Speed bumps. Waiting confirmation of available funding. And that's also, same thing with walking trails, JPP. He's also awaiting confirmation of available funding on those.
Who's he
And
waiting?
as-
Since Ricky's here, is he waiting from Ricky?
He is.
And I'm just asking, what's the delay?
He's trying to get through the budget.
We have a few ordinances that I want to clean up to reappropriate, and that'll probably take place at the next meeting, so I can put the funding in place.
We don't have it, it's a matter of where to.
Where I'm going to get it
Okay.
from, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
His fourth item was 5G ordinance. As you know, there's 4 major changes to the existing ordinance. The minimum spacing of poles, 900 feet. Must leave room for co-location of another utility on any new poles. Company must provide complete map of entire town with all pole locations. And finally, most submit design reports if cannot maintain 900-foot pole spacing. So those are the 4 items in the 5G ordinance that he wanted to highlight, which is on for tonight's introduction. And his fifth item was the road program contractor will be back in town first week of May.
Any news from the county when they're gonna start West Park Avenue?
No, not yet. We haven't gotten that yet. Councilman Chair, I'm gonna kick this to you, curb assessments. We were supposed to discuss that tonight in the meeting. Unfortunately, coming in July, I have limited information on that. I tried to keep up with Greg and Rob on this conversation, but it's something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, I forgot, thank you for bringing it up. So our friend, asked about why he was being assessed having to be in the assessment district for curbs when the township stopped charging residents for curbs.
December 2017.
There you go. So, but that road program, probably, I'm assuming he got caught in
Well,
between.
Right, it might have been a 2015 program we
Exactly.
completed till then. So
Exactly.
I think people are
Right,
misinformed
so,
about how that actually works. Unfortunately, you're behind on your roads program.
correct.
So
So
you
having,
got-
right, I'm with you. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page, that there's no intention of making an exception. We established the new rule.
Well, there's no exception.
Correct, okay,
That's
that's all we want,
unequivocally
yeah,
no.
that,
Yeah.
right. So
No,
Greg
you're-
went out and talked to this person. The person was upset. He said he was going to, I have some texts that he sent, and he thought it was just totally unfair. And
You
I
know,
thought Greg did a good job in explaining it to him.
Absolutely.
I have not heard from him since Greg did go out there, but again, wanted to make sure you guys were all aware of that.
The only time it gets sketchy, and then we're trying to put a little roadblock in front of that, was for a while there, we had no way of making a notification on a tax record for some reason
Right.
that this was an existing assessment pending, and someone would get the assessment, not sell their house and not tell anybody.
Right.
And then the new buyer comes in, all of a sudden, the bill comes in like a year later, like, what did I get this $10,000 curb bill for? Nobody told me that. Now, that's up to their attorney and the seller's attorney, and they should really hash it out there at that point, but we now have something in place, I believe, where the realtors should look into it too.
Right.
Hey, is there any other outside conditions we should know about, any special assessments? And then it's in every real estate contract.
Correct.
Are there any special assessments?
We have it in our software now,
You have
correct?
to, you have to actually go and track that down and do your job.
Right, that's in the assessment, that's in our software now?
I will do that software.
CDS?
That's in our software now?
I'm sorry.
We have those assessments in the software now, where the assessment is
I don't
called
want
out?
to say yes to you unless I.
Well,
research
here's the
and get back
thing.
to you.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody from the tax department here. We're not gonna answer that question.
Okay,
But
we're right, 'cause we always wanted
supposedly,
to
that's
make-
where the
Right.
notation would be, but I'm telling you here that that's something that should be worked out when somebody sells their home.
Right.
That, they're asked that question, and, they don't come forth. I think it's really between the buyer's attorney, seller's attorney to pursue that and get the reparation from the seller if they knew it and then didn't disclose it.
Our software has the billings in it.
I'm sorry, I
If-
could ask you.
If you're referring,
What am I thinking?
if you're
Not used to
referring
having
to
to get-
SDL, I'm not sure what SDL has, if anything. But our software has the billing when it occurs.
Our software being
Edmunds, correct.
Right, so that's where I think
But
it
where
was
you
put the
thi-
last time.
What you're speaking about regarding the perspective, and it hasn't been done yet, I don't know that that's recorded anywhere in a system yet. The letters go out from the clerk, so in the transition of somebody selling and then the work getting done, if they've already signed up for the job, that's what I think the mayor was talking about. That's where I think the disconnect might still be.
I thought Vinnie had established a checkbox in there that identified in Edmonds
I'll
where-
double check with
Who
the tax
were in
collector.
assessment
Correct,
district.
who's
He
in
did
the
say that.
assessment
Okay, I'll double check and
He
get
did
back to
say
you.
that before he left, whether
Yeah.
that's been
Okay.
implemented or not, but that'll be another safety. But
Yep.
no, I guess, back to the original question, I guess Greg met with the person and said if you're in the 2017 or before road program.
Correct.
You're on the hook for the curb.
Having said that, this person, to your earlier point, this was not a sale. This person has been there numerous years.
Just
So,
missed somehow, never got the notice or whatever.
well, no.
Got it and didn't like it.
No. He paid it for 1 or 2 years,
Yeah, and then he,
and now he's
yeah.
complaining because, well, it started off because the apron on his driveway wasn't good. But that's what started the issue, and then the billing came up but, okay, good. I just, again, want to make sure we're all on the same page. Thank you.
Okay.
Is there a way to make some kind of notation when we do a road so that these?
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
They're in an assessment.
I'm talking
district.
about the opening up the roads is another always, it seems to be another issue. Somehow, I guess the Realtor says, hey, this road was just done in 2021. Just, it's in there somehow on your
Oh.
sale.
No.
No?
I mean, could that be?
I'm not
in
looking to
there?
make work, I'm just saying.
That could be to the homeowners when they're selling, in case somebody says, I'm coming in, I want to redo something here, or subdividing the lot, and I want to run a utility. I mean, I don't know, most homeowners act like, well, that's above my pay grade. I don't know. I don't know what the law is.
I agree.
And
That's different.
that's a hard thing to nail them down to. You should know this.
Yeah.
Half of us don't know.
All right, so that concludes the engineering report. My report, the flag flying policy. We got comments from Councilman and Sheriff, and that was it. So I just want to make sure, is this up, down,
So
more discussion?
I've been out.
Should I hold off
So
on
the
it?
flag policy was, I saw something go around a while
We
ago.
we
that
basically
went
got the
dark.
City of Asbury Park's flag policy, and Tracy had disseminated that amongst the governing body. So based on what you just said, Mayor, I will hold this for another 2 weeks, and we'll bring this up at the next
Yeah.
workshop.
well, we
Is
did.
it we're looking to pass a resolution to do it, or
Well,
do we need, I don't know if we need to.
I think it should be discussion first.
Right, agreed.
And make sure we got the policy that we want, then we should, by resolution, put it in effect.
Yeah, well, we do that.
Okay. Next up is deer management. Just
Close
wanted
to my heart.
alert you that part of what we have to do is to alert the 200 foot, so I got a 200 foot list. So I wanted to make the governing body aware that there's 183 homes that would have to be notified of whatever we decide to do in regards to deer management.
And that's just around the play park, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Want to stay on that one for a second?
yes, yeah, I'm still on it.
Okay.
But you can go.
No, go
I
ahead,
know where
finish.
you're going.
Go ahead, I'll let you, I didn't know where you were
Okay,
going.
so then we also got in touch with the gentleman from Raritan Valley College. He is all ready to be able to service us and do the survey, but our timing is terrible because you can't have leaves on the trees, which they're all starting to come back now. So he really can't start his
Next year.
work on about like November. So,
Another year. What's another
yeah,
year?
you know, this is gonna kick it another 6 months down the road before we can even get started.
Johnny, you hear that?
So just want to make everybody aware that I'm continuing to move forward, but we're going to be limited to the seasons.
Johnny, you still here?
That's right, Chuck.
Is the light on?
He's on mute. I don't know. So we spoke this week, and I know we've been focusing on Joe Palea, and I know over the course of the 4 years or 5 years that at least you and I have been discussing this, and others have been involved since they got on, and maybe I'll yield to you, Margie. Why not start, and I think we did discuss starting with Wells Park instead of Joe Palea. This way, we don't have to worry about the assessment and the count and all of that. The county can actually handle Wells Park. We can see how that works. We can see if it works well. If it does, great. If it doesn't, then we don't even do it anymore.
I think the county has jurisdiction over wells because it's a county park.
Correct. But we would just need to pass, my understanding was we just needed to pass an ordinance in town to let it happen,
To let what happen?
a hunt.
I thought we were moving away from the hunt, like moving towards looking at a
Different way of management.
non-violent.
Non-lethal
non-lethal.
Okay, so if that's the,
We have to formally apply for that, correct?
Yeah, but that's this whole.
But first we have to count the
11-point
deer and
process.
then,
okay, so let me ask this question, does that still apply for county property? Do we need, since it's our town, so Jay Playa, it's ours, but Wells is county, does it apply to the county?
I think we still need to send an application in one way or the other too, because it's our,
Well, the county does it today on their property. Excuse me, you're right, they do hunts. I apologize. So is it worth asking the question to save time and effort to do it at
To-
Wells, if we can, without going through and spending the time and the money?
to do the,
Non-lethal, you're
Sure.
right.
Oh, okay,
I'm wrong.
okay.
I'm wrong.
I mean, but how much help would they give us? I mean,
Oh, they do it. If it,
I don't
if-
think
Okay, are you
they've
saying
ever
that
done
the
it
county
before.
does it, they require the permission of the local municipality where their parks are located?
at least for the hunt, if
Yes.
there's lethal. If it's non-lethal, I don't know the question. I don't know if we asked them.
They're not doing non-lethal, but if they're doing a hunt,
Right.
they require, you're saying,
Yes.
the local municipality to say, go ahead.
As I recall over these years of conversations, yes,
Okay,
that
and
was.
where does the initial request come? From the municipality? Or does the county say, hey, we want to do a hunt?
I'm assuming, and it's only an assumption, it could come from either side.
Okay.
I would, that's just logic, but that doesn't always apply in politics.
Well, who's the
Government.
head hunt guy at the county?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one either.
Yeah, I guess we should.
But again, if we don't want to go hunt, Margie's right,
well, I mean, I
misspoke.
thought that's where we were kind of,
That's what we're
Trying to,
doing.
you're
Trying to
right.
go.
So the question would be, is it worth asking would the county allow a non-lethal program in Wells Park without us having to do everything?
I guess we'll find out them.
This way we don't have to go to the state. If the county has precedence over it, then let's save the time and the effort.
Okay.
Make sense?
yeah.
Yeah. Let's throw it
It's
down.
almost like a practice run.
Sure.
But I think, I mean, the county's got to have some oversight from the,
State as well.
right, so they
I
have to
think, I
have-
think the county goes to the state.
Yeah.
Probably, and gets the approval from the state as well. So my guess is to do it non-lethal, the county would have to take that over and proceed with the state.
I'm not disagreeing.
And
It's
based-
worth
And
asking.
then based on that, the state will probably come back and tell the county to do what we're doing for the JPP.
May very well.
So, okay, all right. We'll-
If not, then we got another year to go.
So I mean, I think we should probably find out the point person in the county to follow that.
Okay, we'll do that. Last item, you want to talk about outdoor dining?
And I would like to ask the mayor council to be able to extend outdoor dining through October, November. The people that have been hit through COVID, you know, they're still reeling. And I'd like to be able to help our business community by allowing them to go through October of this year. We've received a lot of requests,
People come to enjoy it.
and people do. You know, I just wanted to make, I need a resolution from the mayor council. But I know you're all business friendly, but I still have to ask and move forward.
Why only October?
You can go to the end of the year if you'd like.
Why?
Well, we get into the November timeframe and people tend not to like to freeze.
No, but my point is, do we have to do it
Could-
again next year? Why not just make it permanent?
Agreed,
I
yeah.
think that we need to discuss that further when it comes to the fire gentlemen.
Yeah.
Means of egress, doorways. They're taking up, you know, sidewalks and areas where the means of egress is important. The fire guys may have some problems with that. Building guys would have some concern. Site plan when it comes to the planning and zoning boards, it's a
The
little
next
more-
logical question is, how are we doing it now?
We're doing it by resolution by the mayor and council.
No, let me rephrase that. Are those people not concerned about the way it's set up today?
Oh,
We
they are.
we have them go out, but they are concerned, but we do things like have the barrier curbs put up over at, you know, like Applebee or like, you know, that kind of spot.
Possibly.
Yeah, there was
But if- if-
issues with heaters on the tents. All those things were being checked and looked at.
I don't think, we can't make it a permanent outdoor. If they want to make it permanent, we need to go to the board for
Yeah, I think so.
amended
Yeah,
site
we need
plan
to
approval.
change the ordinance.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is a temporary measure for COVID.
Yep.
I'm just trying to extend it one more year
This
because
is
the
the
same
easy
people that were hurt.
Got it.
Just go with that.
So thank you.
I'm all for
October
it.
and November. October and November.
We'll go to, I guess, December. If somebody wants to freeze, they can have a blast. You know?
November 3rd.
I mean, on my end, go ahead.
Okay, I'll put that on for the
Okay,
next
Mayor, that
meeting.
concludes the various township projects. And the rest is left for executive session.
Okay.
which
You want to
is,
talk about turf fields?
Now we get the turf fields.
You're right.
All right.
I missed that one.
Talk about turf fields. So this was brought up to me a couple years ago. My background came from the soccer club, and a lot of these towns have these wonderful turf fields. Ocean does not have one. We have a high school turf field. That's a Board of Ed property. The model is this Manhasset Park that everybody loves over in Long Branch. Middletown just put a nice field in. So the question is, A, how do we fund it? B, where do we put it? And then what partnerships can we develop? And it's conversation's been going on for a while, so it's not new. So there's some grant money available that we got to go find. The soccer club, I believe, will kick in some money, as well as the lacrosse club. The soccer club has deeper pockets. There's a wonderful spot right behind the intermediate school, but that's not township property, it's Board of Ed property.
Yeah.
And I know they would love it there. For some reason, you can't seem to get the Board of Ed on board with this project for some reason.
Budgetary, I think they.
And just having
Sure,
served on the
Yeah.
board, all right, when we did the high school field, I mean, that was close to
And you
800,000.
had a big donor.
Yeah, and you had one huge donor.
Right.
The
How
soccer,
much did you say, Councilman?
800 if memory serves.
800,000.
that included the track, and they went for the extras too. I mean, this would be a little more low-key.
So with the fields we have now are the ones that are obvious and are in use.
Yeah.
And if you want to go price them out and then see from there, but then, like you said, it's a matter of funding.
It's a matter of funding.
These aren't little capital improvement projects, these are big
Big
$1
ones.
million plus each
Yeah.
field.
I know Walt Township Soccer Club actually did their own. So they raised money, they had fundraisers, and they got a plot and they did it. And that's club property. But there is some rental to this thing that you
Yeah.
can, lots of people can use this. It's multi-use for multi-sports, multi-kids. I mean, it's a win for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So I did talk to Mike Patrico about this, and so we talked about possibly over by the municipal gym, where that football field is, making that a turf
Right,
field.
you have that one.
And then they can all kind of, fight it out, who can use it and all that stuff. I think it's a great idea. It has a lot of pluses. You can use this thing in all climates, all weather. You don't have to worry about the rain and the puddles and the divots and all that stuff. It's just a matter of money, So it's a pie in the sky project, but I think there's a lot of support out there.
Let's do it.
So if you guys can find it, I think it'd be a
That
great
field,
idea.
by the way, by the gym, when it was being designed, I had Dave Cockle run a conduit underneath it for lights on the other side of the field.
Yeah,
So there's electric, it's all wired for that, plus a scoreboard in the far end.
yeah.
So all that's wired up if you do a field.
That would be great.
I'm in total support of it, but I want to also be realistic. When we were talking about the school one, our exact same.
Yeah.
We can go out, we tried fundraising, and to your point, we had one person. I mean, there were a couple of others. We had fundraisers, but it was, in the scheme of things, it was a rounding error. But I will say this, we thought we were going to get a lot of, because it was the only one locally, not at the time, but there weren't that many others, and we did not have that much rental. And still to this day, I don't believe there's that. I'm not saying we can't get it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
the
just
pitch
putting
always.
things, that's what?
That's always the pitch.
Correct. Agreed. And we pitched it that way. And we talked about advertisement, we talked about, putting things on the field for logos to, none of it panned. Again, we
Yeah.
tried. I'm not saying we can't do it today. Just trying to be realistic on it. I think it's a great idea. I think we need more.
I would like to push the grant writers a little bit, because I think there's got to be something out there.
There is.
You know?
Unfortunately, and when I was in Roselle, we did a $500,000 turf field. Different location, urban community, so the rentals went like crazy. People were renting left and right to do soccer there, football, Pop Warner, everything was happening over there. We sold signage around the fencing, so people could, different local stores would buy and then they'd promote their store. We had the concession stand was also rented out and folks would cook food, and then when we did our stuff, the borough had made money. So it's totally doable, and there's a big sports foundation that gives away money for this, so it's doable, worth looking into.
Yeah. If it's okay with you, Dave, I want to give you a couple of contacts. I know you met with Joe
Yep.
Palumbo, but there's a couple other guys who I'm sure would be great to
Okay.
connect you with.
Email them to me, we'll get right on it.
And, these guys, they want and they need, so it's a matter of coming up with the right.
It's okay if I talk to the school board about the property behind the intermediate school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Would that be a shared service then, if we were going to do that?
That's what I'm thinking.
100%, they're not gonna just give it to you.
We probably foot the bill to build it, and they give us the land.
Keep in mind, they could have gym classes out there.
Right, yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
uses, you know?
They have a lot of activities.
We did, we
in
used to
school.
get stones in our knees when we hit the turf. It was hard paying out there. We had in between wasteland.
It's still not real great.
Hey,
still
that
makes
was
you
50
tough.
years ago, but
It's terrible.
And it's in its infancy, but no disrespect to the school board, but why would we do it there as opposed to Joe Playa? Or across from,
It just
the rec
happens to be,
center?
there's a bunch of fields back there there's a lot of space back there, that's all. I mean, you can, its location is, you just gotta find a spot. That just happens to be a spot.
I mean, is Joe Pelea in play? I mean,
Why not? I don't know.
Well, the
Why
fields
would
that
it
are
be?
there, we're not talking about constructing.
Oh,
new
correct,
fields.
right.
We're talking about the ones that are in use now,
Yeah.
going from
oh, but we're
grass
talking
to
about building a
turf.
turf field, so you
Yeah.
need,
You need space,
yeah.
I mean, we have huge soccer tournament here every year in June.
Yeah.
yeah.
And they use what we have there, and they use intermediate school,
Sure.
27 acres out there, they use all that area.
Sold out this year, by the way.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
200 and
it's
some
always
teams.
people come
Nice.
from
Yeah, it's
Ohio.
huge.
Cha-ching.
It's a big moneymaker for
Yeah.
the club.
Anyway, yeah, we'll pursue
Okay.
it. It's all about the financing.
So that's it, you gotta find that partnership. I think
Yeah.
there's a partnership out there, we just gotta find it.
Naming rights.
That's,
There you
That's it,
go.
yeah.
There you go, Matt.
We did that too, yep.
You buy your name up there for 10 years, I could see it now. Dr. Dave Fisher Field. Mile fee of $1
Nice
million.
way to-
For $1 million.
Fisher Field, I
There
like
you go,
that.
Fisher Field.
Perpetuity could be mentioned
Yeah.
with Ocean Township. All right. Anything else? Anybody else have anything before you ask the public?
hold please.
You have-
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get around the warrant.
Oh, you're doing the presentation here and there?
Whatever your pleasure is.
Well-
I was told both, but
Oh.
whatever.
Oh,
It's gonna be,
okay.
it's the same spiel here as it is downstairs.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think we've always only done it down at the
Right.
7 o'clock meeting, right?
That's
I
fine with
have no
me.
sense in making you do this twice taped on the same show.
Okay,
Unless you had somewhere to go and you wanted to do it here, that's fine, man.
whatever your pleasure is. I'm good, I'm here, doesn't matter.
The only thing I would say is,
It's on the agenda.
there you go.
It's on the agenda for the public in case somebody had a...
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's the budget. Yeah, why don't you just come down at 7 and you go first. Well, we have the swearing in, but then...
Yeah, that's fine with me.
You directly about 7:15, you'll be ready.
Okay.
So anything else for open?
I'll go to work.
Did you want to notice that exchange
Yeah, I'm
thing,
sorry, I didn't know
for
that's what
the
you were
Amazon
doing.
packages? Somebody put that on the internet, that they could come down to town hall. Did you want to mention that at all?
Did you see my follow-up?
Oh,
post?
so, here's the thing. We talked about it a few years ago,
We did it.
and we did. I said, yeah, okay. So that, and Lisa's been using it.
Okay.
In fact, we were here 2 weeks ago. She wanted to sell something on Macari or whatever it was. It's just a
Oh,
matter...
we use it because it's a public parking lot.
Yeah,
to
so
come.
they feel safe doing
And
an
the police
exchange.
department is right
I
here.
would only,
Yeah, a
all I
lot
would
of
say
towns
is,
do that.
just order a few signs maybe.
Okay.
Or a sign that you can place at the parking lot entrance, this is a safe zone for local exchanges if you have that. You know, something like that. There's a sign out there several towns have, you can just model it
Yeah.
after that.
We'll
But we
put
already
some
have that in
research.
place.
Yeah.
We did it. I
We just gotta let the
remember at
people
least
know.
5 years ago.
I don't think anybody knew about it.
Yeah, it was that long ago.
And so no one knew about it.
I did, at least.
You did.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
a few of her friends did, because they use it.
Yeah. Okay.
cool.
You see them here Saturday at 6, somebody's sitting out there
AM or
selling
PM?
the chest or something, you know. Right in
Uh,
front of the police.
I have just the one thing, we talked about senior activities. That was also, why don't
Yeah,
you brought it up, and then
sure
I've been
that
in
was-
touch.
You
Well-
wanted to talk closed? for
Yeah,
something?
that's gonna involve some personnel and stuff, and I
Oh,
can give you more info on that.
Okay.
Jack, you have anything?
The only thing I would add to what you're doing here is to pursue, I think you should pursue that turf issue too. And I think maybe even partner somehow with the school system somehow. Maybe they get a sign that says, this is a courtesy or what, I don't know. But I'm sure you could work a deal. By the way, wouldn't the school like to say, we're part of Ocean Township? Don't you think they'd like to say, we're taking care of your kids, and by the way, we're gonna have this as well, which is all part of it. It's a positive thing, it's nothing negative.
No,
You just gotta figure out how they can shake hands.
Yeah.
That's all I got, thank you. Lou.
thanks, Jack.
We'll get it done.
In the summer.
All right, whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meeting Act 231, 1935 permits the exclusion of the public from meeting, circumstances exist. Public is of opinion that certain circumstances do exist in the Township of Goshen, Monmouth County. Public shall be excluded from all discussions of general nature of C1, C2, and C3. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
We're in close.
Naplatani? Here. Councilmember Achara?
Here.
Donlin?
Here?
Fisher?
Here.
Notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press, Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the Municipal Clerk on December 9th, 2021. There are 2 fire exits here, one to my left, which brings you down the hall and meanders you out to the parking lot. One also to my right. This will bring you out to the front doors and also out to the parking lot. If you have a cell phone, we ask that you turn it off. You keep it on if you want to take pictures, of course. If you have to make a call, kindly go outside into the hallway. We do tape every meeting, and the ambient noise does interfere with our taping in the production of the quality of our tape here. So with that, we're not going to do any council reports. So,
Can I make a brief announcement about the clean sweep?
oh, yes. Hang on a second. Before we do, Marge, I do want to invite everybody, please, to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody, please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moment of silent prayer. Please remain standing. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. All right, you do have one announcement you needed to make, Marge?
Yep, just super quick. On the 23rd of this month, we're having our clean sweep for the spring. It'll be on the Township website. And on the 24th, we're having our Green Fest, which will be in Palea Park. That's from 11 to 4.
Great. Thank you. So tonight, we have some swearing-ins that we're going to get to. So we're all going to come down from the dais, and then I'm going to call the chief up. Thank you. Okay. Always first and foremost, we got our batteries on, we're all ready to go. So this is one of these occasions that we really enjoy doing. What you're seeing here tonight, support for some promotions from our police department. We always say we have one of the best police departments and the best personnel in the state of New Jersey. We all believe that, so give these guys all around. The rigors of just being sworn into as a patrolman here in Ocean Township, everybody that's here knows, everybody that's wearing blue, they went through it themselves. It's quite a process. The chief and the lieutenants and the captains go through a grueling process of interviewing, and we get many copious interviews, probably 100 for each position. So what you're seeing is the cream of the crop here in any police department in the state. We say that. Then to rise up through the ranks is just a whole nother process again, because you're competing with the best of the best just to get to that next rung. And they're all so good and all so worthy, but you have to make a selection based on what you have right now. So without any further ado, we're going to call the chief up, and he's going to tell you about these great promotions that we have tonight. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, Manager. I'll be brief. We have a lengthy council meeting agenda. Is that better? Yeah. Okay. I'll be brief. We have a lengthy agenda, and I'm sure that we want to get through. Due to recent retirements, we've had the opportunity to make several promotions, and with the support of the manager and the mayor and council, we're able to do all 3 at once. It's a grueling, lengthy process. As the mayor said, there's significant dedication on the part of the candidates. There's written tests, there's take-home essays, oral exams, oral interviews. It's a very stressful and lengthy process, and it requires significant dedication. So I would actually like to thank Kelly, Jackie, and Maureen for picking up the slack while these guys were studying and doing all their work. So we have 3 promotions, a sergeant, a lieutenant, and a captain. Sergeant Castellano joined the police department in 2010. He's a graduate of Jackson High School and Monmouth University, where he played football. He's spent most of his time here in patrol, and one of the most important assignments that he's done is as a field training officer. So he's responsible for training new officers who come right out of the academy and teaching them how to be cops. So that's a one-on-one supervision, and that's helped him shine through. He's currently an assistant team leader for the Monmouth County Dive Team, and right now he's assigned to a patrol squad as a sergeant. Lieutenant Flamia is a Ocean Township High School graduate and Westchester University. He joined the police department in 2002. He is a current resident with his wife Kelly, 4 children. You have your hands full. Paul has been through several assignments in the police department, in patrol, and the detective bureau. He was the staple in the bureau as a detective and as a supervisor. There was a lot of turnover, rotations, and transfers, but he was the rock that held it together, and he will remain in the detective bureau as a lieutenant in charge of that squad. And Captain Skank is also an Ocean Township graduate from the high school. He went through West Virginia University. He joined the police department in 2000 as a dispatcher, and then as a police officer in 2002. He's had various assignments as well in the Detective Bureau and in patrol. He's recently resigned from the Monmouth County SWAT team as an assistant commander, and currently he's in charge of the Operations Bureau of the Police Department, which is all of patrol, traffic, and Detective Bureau. So congratulations to all of you and to your families, and we'll bring them up one by one. Sergeant.
Thank you, Chief. Okay. All right. You gonna hold? You gonna do the holding? There you go. You wanna hold the Bible for Pops? All right. You're gonna put your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand for me. Okay. You ready? We get one mulligan. I'm only kidding. It's a go. All right. So you're gonna raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas J. Castellano,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United
and
States,
the Constitution
of the
of
Constitution
the State of New Jersey.
of the State of New Jersey,
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
perform
perform all the duties
duties
of the police sergeant
of the police sergeant
of the Township of Ocean Police Department
of the Township of Ocean Police Department
according to the best of my abilities.
according to the best of my abilities,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, guys. Chief, we'll sign all these. Okay. Next up. All right. We have our lieutenant coming up. All right. Come on up, Paul. If you don't mind. Who's your holder? You got it, pal? You got this? All right. Yeah, you're going to be this way. Pop's going to put his left hand there and going to raise his right hand. All right, we're all good? Again, we're going to go straight here, and I think you're going to be fine. All right, so. I state your name.
I, Paul A. Flamia,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the State of New Jersey.
and the state of New Jersey,
I'll bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will truthfully,
that I will
faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
That one too, always truthfully, faithfully, they're good.
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the police lieutenant,
of the position of police lieutenant
Township of Ocean Police Department,
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. We'll sign these later. And we'll take a quick picture here. Good job. All right. And finally, make sure we get the captain up here. Back to the glasses. Oh, good. All right. Who's our holder? You gonna hold? Attaboy. All right. Oh, he's gonna hold it? All right. Left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand for me, Greg. We're all good? We're ready? And congratulations once again. Okay, I state your name.
Hi, Gregory A. Schenk.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United
and
States
in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly
that
swear
I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the position of police captain
of the position of police captain
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
for the Township of Ocean Police Department
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Captain. Photo. Great. All right, congratulations, everybody. We're going to take a short recess and give you guys time for pictures and do what you need to do. Thank you all for coming. Okay, everybody, we're going to call the meeting back to order. The purpose of the public portion of this is solely ask questions, understand resolutions that appear on the agenda, not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions related to an item on the agenda should be asked during the public comments portion at the conclusion of the meeting. Okay, so you have something germane to Ocean Township, you have an opportunity at the end of the meeting to speak on to that. Right now, we're going to go over our resolutions. Oh, we have our presentation, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Manager.
Tonight, it's been a while for this one. Our 2022 budget presentation, we're going to call up our CFO. Rick Gartz is going to give us our presentation. Come on up, Rick.
No.
Oh, just take the mic there.
Mayor, council members, thank you. Tonight, we have before you the proposed introduced budget.
Tom is going to tell you, talk into the mic.
Talk
Like
into the
grab
mic?
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like grab it, take it off.
You can
Take
take
it
it
off?
off. We
Okay.
just,
You seem animated.
All right. Is it better?
yeah.
There you go.
Tonight, we're got the proposed introduced 2022 budget in front of you. Just to go over where we were, on February 12th, we met, we had a public meeting regarding the budget, and the council sent the manager and I back with looking to make cuts on both the appropriation side and the tax levy side. So we went and we did what we could do that we thought would be most responsible and feasible for the residents of the township and for the township to operate in a function that they're accustomed to operating in. So with that being said, the budget that we presented to you on February 12th had a $1.5 million tax levy increase. The budget that's reflecting tonight has a drop of almost $802,000 from that. So we did what we could do to accommodate everything that you had requested of us, and that's where we're at tonight. The tax rate for municipal purposes is at 36 cents, which is a drop of 4.5 cents from the 2021 rate. The average assessed value of a home in Ocean is $648,246, which is an increase of nearly $100,000 or 18% over 2021's assessed values. Salary and wage increases overall are increasing by $844,000. The primary reasons for that, half of that is attributed to the police dispatch coming on board with 100% having every position filled. Recreation and Project Extend, they plan on resuming where they were pre-COVID, so all activities and all counselors, et cetera, that are going to be needed to operate your recreation programs, as well as Project Extend for the after-school and before-school programs, is going to increase the salaries there as well. Under other expenses, the overall increase is only about $400,000, which is 1.7%. The largest changes are as follows. Our employee group health insurance went up $131,000, 5.3%. The state rates went up 5%, so we're right on target on what we need to do there. The police salaries are up modest. Police dispatch, I'm sorry, they're up $63,000. Like I said, they wanted to have full staff on the, I'm sorry, we're talking about other expenses. Police other expenses are up $63,000, which is 24% over the prior year. That's due to a lot of the maintenance agreements that they had and prior year's training that had dropped off that needed to get back on tabs because of COVID. They didn't have the opportunity to do all the training that they need. They didn't have all the opportunity to do the training that they needed, so we had to get that back into play here. Maintenance of equipment is up $66,000. Deferred vacation and sick leave, we dropped by $150,000. I had previously explained to you why I did that, and moving forward, that I think that will be the general way that we will go on funding that. Our pension bills are up $227,000, uncontrollable, which is 7.2%. The pool and tennis club, the lifeguards moved to an interlocal agreement with Long Branch for $155,000. That should save us about $15,000 a year over the existing contract that we had with the increase that was going to come with that one. Monmouth County Regional Health Commission, we moved that to an interlocal with the county for 2022, starting May 1st. And then after that, it will become a county tax levy for the health services. The reserve for uncollected taxes has a decrease of $224,000. Our revenues, fund balance utilized in this budget is $7.3 million, which is an increase of $100,000 over 2021. The municipal court budget of $230,000 is $230,000 has a decrease of $203,000 in anticipated revenue. The court is not producing the revenues that we had in the past, and in prior 2 years we were allowed to do a 3-year average in order to justify the number we were going to anticipate. This year we're going to use what I think is expected as opposed to hoped for. So that is dropped by the $200,000. Interest on investments and deposits, we have a budget of $59,000. We used to bring in $500,000. So there's a big hit there. Fees and permits for construction, we increased that by $150,000 for UCC fees. And ARPA funds, for the first time, the American Rescue Plan, they have given us $1.2 million. We'll get another $1.2 million come July. We are anticipating $800,000 of that in revenue this year to balance the budget. Overall, the budget is both responsible to the needs of the community and supportive to the staff to effectively deliver the services to the residents of Ocean Township. The revenue estimates that are attainable to support the rebuilding of fund balance as well. We will hold our public hearing on May 12, 2022, whereby the public will have an opportunity to ask any questions they'd like.
Great. Great, thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Good job, and well done, very concise, and a lot of work went into it. I know when we had that first meeting, yes, we all did send you back. I said, sharpen those pencils. And you did. I mean, you know, of course, I always like to see it sharper than sharp, but you did good considering what the budget pressures that you mentioned, the constraints we had, the increases that we just can't avoid, those things do happen, and then we have to cope with that. So, good job overall.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let me just call John back. We lost him.
Oh, we lost somebody, hang on, we lost a member.
Push it down on top, Rick. Just squeeze it in.
So we're gonna have our public hearing on the
May 12th will be
May,
the public hearing.
May 12th.
Correct.
If anybody cares to show up,
But we
okay.
have to vote on introducing the budget.
Okay, we're gonna do an introduction vote now, though.
Let's get John.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want the updated summary one.
Oh, perfect, he's back.
Just want the big
I
one
mean, he's done.
that you have.
I'd love the summary electronic. You have hards for everybody?
I have hard
Okay.
ones.
Take it.
All right.
Thank you.
I can email it to you if you'd like.
Yeah,
Okay.
please. Thanks, Rick.
Okay, so there's no one here, it's just on here,
Got it.
right?
It's this, yeah,
Okay.
a motion to approve.
Okay, so, make a motion, somebody make a motion to approve the introduction of the 2022 municipal budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you, John.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes, and that'll have its hearing in May. Okay, great. Thank you
very
again.
much.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah.
Okay. For the rest of the consent agenda and/or resolutions, anybody have anything from the public that appears just about the resolutions and the consent agenda, not the ordinances? No? Okay. Someone please offer the consent agenda and the minutes and resolutions 2279 through 2283.
I'd like to offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. Also tonight, we have vouchers in the amount of $8,175,322.72. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes on everything. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Yes on everything except vendor PO 99049 due to a conflict.
Okay. Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes, and for individual action, we have Resolution 2284, authorize the cancellation of taxes for the year 2021 and refunding or crediting the tax overpayments resulting from New Jersey tax court and Monmouth tax judgments to the taxpayer. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2285, authorize the awarding of the titles of various vehicles to Brothers Towing, Inc. in lieu of towing and storage. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2286, approve the renewal of contract with Delta Denta for the flagship plan effective May 1st, 2022. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2287, authorize the extension of a contract with Millennium Strategies LLC for grant writing services at a cost not to exceed $9,000 for a period of January 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2022. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2288, authorizing Township of Ocean to enter into a memorandum agreement with Monmouth County Board of Health for the provision of local health services May 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022 at a cost not to exceed $200,200.64. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
Achara?
second.
Oh, sorry. Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2289, designating certain areas in the Township of Ocean as areas in need of rehabilitation. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes, something we started when I first became mayor 7 years ago. I'm glad we're getting it moving. 2290, authorizing the purchase of fans for the municipal gym from Delta Fans Corporation at a cost not to exceed $39,922. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2291, amending temporary appropriations for 2022. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. 2292, authorizing a professional service contract for special counsel for tax appeals and litigation with the firm of McKenna, DuPont, Stone, and Washburn, P.C., for a period ending December 31st, 2022, at a cost not to exceed $15,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. And 2293, authorize a rejection of bids received for the proposed bathroom renovations at 1515 Logan Road. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. Okay. Tonight, for adoption, we have an ordinance number 2381. Jesse, would you read the title, please?
An ordinance amending Chapter 9 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Soil and Tree Removal.
Okay, so how this is going to work, we're going to go down, we're going to
Oh, someone's going to
open up the ordinance, and we're going to open up the public hearing, and then we'll go right down the line. Someone please open the public hearing on ordinance number 2381.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2381.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. Anybody wishing to be heard on ordinance 2381, step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and please speak directly into the mic so you're picked up on our recording. Okay, and be mindful that Rob has a clock here. We do
Yes,
have
he does.
limitations.
All right.
So everybody has a fair shot. You get one shot here, up to 5 minutes. Say your piece. Hello,
My
Ken.
name is Kenneth Lutz, 1100 Brookside Avenue.
Sorry. Go on.
Am I
You're
on?
not going to go over 3. Don't worry about it.
When I moved here a few decades ago to this community of gracious living, one of the things that attracted me, besides the gracious people who lived here, was the physical characteristic of town. It was full of trees. And in the last, let's say more than just about a decade, we lost a lot of trees in Sandy. And in the last few years, trees have been coming down indiscriminately. So this ordinance helps put a stop to that and try to preserve trees as best we can, still allowing residents to cut down a few trees if they have to, and if they want to cut down more, they can replace them. And one of the benefits of having these trees that we've seen lately is that they absorb water and help stop flooding. So that's the main reason we've introduced this ordinance. The Environmental Commission and Council Member Donlin helped introduce this ordinance to really keep the characteristic of the town before it becomes completely denuded.
Great.
So thank you.
Well, thank you for your input.
you.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks for your hard work on the ordinance. Anyone else wishing to be heard? Come on up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Don Trocchia, 87 Barberry Drive in Wayside. I'm the president of the Rolling Meadows Homeowners Association. We have 328 single-family homes there, approximately 537 people living there over the age of 19. We read the article, and I have some questions about the ordinance itself. Does it pertain to private property other than the golf course trees on private property? We have wetlands in our development. We have trees in our development. We have, what are they called? Palm trees, not palm trees.
Well, I look like a palm tree?
I just got back from Florida.
Shade
That's
trees.
okay. They have pine trees.
Pine trees.
Pine trees. And sometimes they fall over.
Yeah.
And they can't be saved, or they're turning brown. We remove those. And we have a contractor that's a certified arborist that cuts our trees down when we need them. On the 328 homes, we have what we call boulevard trees. They outline the long walks around the community, and every year a certified landscaper comes and he cuts the tree limbs down so when you walk under them, you don't get hit on your head. When I read the ordinance, I don't know the whole thing, and I'm worried about, is it gonna cost us $200 every time we touch a tree on our own property?
Well.
I mean, and then I look at the corner of Deal Road and Highway 35, and there's a huge parcel of land where trees once stood that are gone. Same thing with the enclave across the street from us. All the trees that were over there are all gone. And
Yeah, and Don, so just so you know, and same with your development, I remember before it was built, it was a farm, but there were trees there as well, they're gone. But there's always exceptions to every ordinance, and every tree ordinance we've had always had opportunity for other tree removal. You know, you'll come in and you'll explain to us what you have to do. So in this case, I think, Marge, you can tell them that.
Yeah, in terms of trimming the branches and
That-
that sort of thing, this ordinance doesn't address it. It's strictly tree removal, and there's exceptions for dead and dying trees and trees that may pose a danger, to.
we had
housing
one
and
that
sort
was
of
in the wetlands, a good-sized one. The girth on it was at least 15 inches across. It fell down out of the wetlands because it was water there all the time, and it hit a house. We removed that tree.
Yeah, well, if it falls down, if the tree's down, it's not part of the ordinance, there's not gonna be any prohibition. In addition, when you talk about developments, typically that's, the planning board has those hearings, and they make a determination as to how many trees are gonna be removed. Like when you talked about the one development in Wayside, I can't remember which one you mentioned. But the bottom line is, the enclave. The bottom line is, there's a planning board resolution that indicates how many trees are being removed and what they have to do to replace those trees. So that's done separately from the ordinance. But yes, does it affect private property? It does affect private property. So
if
private
a
homeowners.
homeowner has a tree next to their house that was planted when they got there, and they want to take it out because they're afraid of termites coming into their house. They have to come and get a permit, pay $200 for the permit.
They have to, I don't know what the cost is for the permit.
It's $200.
But they get a permit, but they're permitted to remove a certain amount of trees over a certain time period. And so that's the bottom line. But if the tree is dead or dying, it's a different issue.
Do you have that many residents that are taking their trees down? Is it an issue today?
On Tuesday night, we had a board meeting, and a lady that just moved into the development came to me, and she said, Don, I have 2 trees next to my house that the construction people, I guess when she just moved in, told her that they're going to bring termites into her house. So she said, can I take them down? I said, well, they're on your property,
Yes.
so you can take them down.
Yes,
On her property.
She would be able to take them down, yes.
Yes.
She can take them down.
Well, thank you.
But it
That
wasn't a
helps.
question. But it wasn't a question of whether they could or couldn't. The question is, they need to follow the ordinance and get the permit and follow the normal process to do it. We never, keep me honest, we were never stopping anybody from doing it.
No.
They just need to follow the process.
Right. We
Right,
only
and
touch trees.
and just to understand, prior to this ordinance, there was a previous ordinance that also dealt with trees and how many you could remove. So this just improved, we hope,
When we
what was
went through-
previously there.
Excuse me, but we went through transition, and the president at the time was here for the transition. And when you did the transition from Continental to us, they gave us the full deed and the property there for our own use. We never take down a live tree unless it's a danger to somebody. But we do get trees that fall down. We do get trees that die, and we take those trees out.
Those would
It's a
be
lot of-
exempt. Those would be exempt from this.
I'm sorry.
Those are exempt. If
They're
the
exempt.
tree falls down, you don't have to get a permit, the tree's down. If the tree is dying, it's a separate issue. It's not
Okay.
part.
And we use a certified arborist, Mike Huffnagel
Perfect.
from
You're
Middletown. He
fine.
does all our work.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Well, I'm not sure.
be
but
all
I'm
right.
pretty sure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
And Rob, see you again.
Likewise.
All right. Yep, step up to the microphone, state your name and address for the record.
Cecile Apollo, 6 Lilac Lane. I'm from Rolling Meadows, and I was the president during the transition. And we worked with Jim Higgins at the time, because we had a lot of dead vegetation and a lot of dead trees. We had agreed he had told us what we needed to replant, and we agreed to go through the transition with the developer. We got $183,000 to replace everything and plant it and take ownership and maintenance, and that was the agreement. So am I hearing you correctly when you say, yeah, it's okay, you know, to replace it if it dies, but we still have to go through that ordinance and pay a fee for something that we already own and we planted it ourselves? Am I hearing you correctly?
So for replacement trees, what's the,
For, you mean like a permit? So you would have to pay a permit to take down a tree. You can either replace it or you can pay a fee into the shade
So
shade
if
tree
we have a
fund.
tree, we have a couple of trees that have died over a few years, you know.
You don't
trees
need to
die.
replace those.
But we can replace that tree without paying a fee.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
If your tree has died, you can replace it without a fee. Am I correct on that? Where would it say that otherwise?
John, we're on a microphone, you'll never be heard, you gotta come up to the mic, anybody wants to say anything. Come on up here and state your name and address for the record.
My name's John Spoli. I live at 440 West Park Avenue.
Put the mic up.
Got it?
Okay, and your business is tree removal?
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll get
So
that on the
it-
record.
Yes. Oh, sorry. So this whole thing's pretty ridiculous. It's not affordable for a lot of trees are expensive enough to remove. So I mean, I think you should have sat down with some people that know something about some trees before you write up something like this, because none of you guys know anything about trees.
You were in the meeting, weren't you?
I wasn't in no meeting, no.
You were in our council meeting, and then we
I was in the county. Yeah, you invited me back, but I never got an invite back. And it was done on via Zoom, right? But I was out with the kids that night. I had something going on. It was my kid's birthday or something. I forgot.
Well, we had an introduction one day, we were discussing it at a workshop, you came, a couple other people
I
came.
came the one time, yeah,
Yeah.
but it wasn't on the board. What I'm saying to you is, I get what you're trying to do, and it's fine to do that, but this is not the way to do it. First of all, you don't even have anybody on staff that can go look at a tree job to give you a real permit. By state law, that would mean you have to hire an arborist. You're gonna have to hire an arborist. You can't even implement this without an arborist on staff. Who's your arborist? You guys can't even get out a construction permit. What if the tree is dangerous? We gotta wait for a permit? Remember what happened with Sandy? We're all waiting for permits, trees falling on houses. This is not good. You need to relook at this.
Okay.
It's not going, it's not good. Just for you to come up here and like the lady said, she owns her property. You're gonna make her pay $200 to remove her own tree? Come on.
No, I think they had said
Where does that
she
say
was
that?
exempt from that.
Where is
When
that?
you're gonna have to file an application, right? Oh, an application, right?
I don't know. Tell me where is it?
Well, I didn't get to read it all.
Oh.
I just got it. I only found out about this yesterday. But I still think you ought to sit and consult with some of us before you pass this.
Well, I think that was the idea initially, and I think that's why we invited you, I know at some point, because I know I had the same issue, that we should have someone on your end.
Right.
And that's why you were invited to the meeting. What happened after that, I don't know.
And we
I thought
did
you were
involve,
involved.
we did have tree experts involved in our meetings. We had, I think Armstrong was there.
Armstrong was involved.
Right. Yep.
$200 for every tree, that's what it says right there. Oop. $200 for every tree. You're expecting these people to pay $200 for a permit to take down a tree on their property that they pay you taxes for? That's what you're asking? That's crap. Come on, man. Really, think about it.
What section are you looking at?
Trying to be a
What-
communist? What are you gonna do now?
Come on,
I mean, you're dictating what they can do with their land. It gets worse and worse. You guys are getting worse and worse.
Well, apparently we did have someone there.
You got one
from-
person that's bent on saving the universe and saving the trees, man. These couple little trees coming down around here are not affecting the world.
What I was saying is apparently we did have someone.
you know, the ocean's
Excuse
not
me,
rising
excuse me.
as we're cutting trees.
We did have someone who's in the tree business who was part of the committee.
Who?
Armstrong, Mr. Armstrong.
You thought this was okay, Gene? I'm still on a couple meetings, yeah. But, I asked
Gene,
you,
you're gonna have to come up also.
did you think this was okay?
Right. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a question, John, of you to ask Gene. Ask us and we'll have Gene come up and he can say
Okay,
something.
all right, we asked you.
All right. Come on up, Gene. Gene, you,
I'm Gene Armstrong,
Yeah.
2500 Sunset Avenue. I did go to some of the meetings, and I did meet with Ken on a few occasions to talk about it. I personally, you know, we had a harder ordinance to begin with, and it was a failure. And we eased it up. But now it seems like we're going even farther to the other side. I don't know, who you're going to have to make all the decisions and stuff. Technically, you should have a certified tree expert. And the enforcement, you know, it's
right.
Yeah, I mean that's
Enforcement's
my biggest
a
thing.
problem
If you
because we
can't
don't have anybody that works Sunday.
Right.
And to me, I don't want to cut anybody out from working on Sunday, but that would eliminate a lot of trees just falling down out of nowhere.
Right.
But I don't want to go
think-
there. Guys like to work when they can.
I think also too, you make it hard to cut a tree down. People are going to leave them, and then you're going to start having more damage. And people,
Well, there's a dichotomy,
to an
Gene
extent.
and John, of balancing, trying to preserve. It's a tree preservation ordinance. Let's make no bones about it.
Yeah,
So
I
yes,
understand,
it's
yeah.
not going to be easy to cut a tree down, but
Right.
it's not supposed to be too difficult as well. But there's a balance we're trying to strike here, because John, I disagree with you on that. One little tree doesn't make a difference. That attitude would have the whole world would make a difference if we all thought that.
Well, I mean,
so no, it makes a difference.
I'm all for, people replanting, so my kids got something to cut down when they get a little older. But like you say,
See, there you go. There's
you're
always a
looking
solution.
at a 3.5-inch caliber tree to replace. It's a lot of money, and like you say, for a lot of the outer staters that are coming this way, I mean, that's nothing. But for the regular,
Nothing.
for the regular working
Right.
people, which are becoming fewer and fewer around here, it's tough, and especially like older people that might have planted the trees themselves. It's
So in your mind, I'm just going to go back to
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to John in a minute. You're feeling that it's too onerous because it's too hard, it's too restrictive.
I think
the
it's
ord-
getting a little too restrictive. Like on the original one was very restrictive, and when you ease it up, it seemed to be working. Except for, like you say, there's no real enforcement or anything. And I know Hank was looking at a lot of stuff, but
then-
but like you say, we don't want to have to be paying a guy $100,000 to do all the tree stuff
Right.
just to have an ordinance. It's not really
Right.
cost
We're
effective.
trying to achieve something. And then John, you feel, and I don't disagree with the part about a homeowner replacing a sick tree that she's already had. Now she's replacing it.
Right.
Paying an application. I get that part too.
Well, I think that one problem too, if you don't document that the tree was dead, but then it kind of opens it up a little,
It's subjective to
everything
somebody's
needs to
opinion.
be, so you know what was there and what was cut.
Right.
I
I mean, guys, you have to understand the intent of charging somebody a hefty application fee is for a little thought twice about, do you need to take this tree down? Is it
Yeah.
a threat? Or are you going to put this beautiful addition in your house? You want to take them down? Okay.
Certainly,
I get it. I'll
Okay,
pay
but
for it.
Just to correct one thing, I believe, the cost to take down is not $200 per tree. It's $100 for the application, and then $100. The application could be the removal of 5 trees. So that's one application plus then $100 per tree. So I'm not saying, well, that's not $200 per tree.
No, it's even more.
It's less.
No.
Potential.
It's
Potentially even more.
it's what? What do you mean it's more?
It's $100 for the application.
Right.
And $100 for each tree to be removed.
Right, but it's not.
But you can remove
you
up
had
to
said
3
before it was
trees.
$200 to remove each tree.
I just want to reemphasize, you can remove up to 3 trees without any fee or replacement.
Okay.
You can remove, it's reasonable, so it's not like every single tree you take down. You can remove up to 3 trees within a certain time frame with no replacement fee, and so anyone wants to take down 1 or 2 trees within a
Right.
5-year time frame, as long as you pay the permit fee, you
Right.
can do that. It's reasonable. It's taking down multiple trees,
So are those.
So it's not every tree you take down. You have up to 3 trees within a 5-year time frame.
I don't think any town has that high of fees for tree removals. Not that I know of. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think without a real plan of how to implement everything, I think you're jumping the gun. If nobody's thought about that part of it. It's easy to write it all up, but then to implement it, to make it work, that was what the big problem was with the first ordinance that you had.
But again, that's why we were trying to get someone on your end,
Right.
like you and
No,
you,
yep.
involved to basically voice your position
Yeah.
as this was going through. Now, why that didn't get voiced, I don't know, but that was the idea.
Right.
And frankly, it was one of the things that,
Well, it got, COVID screwed some things up. But I think.
I'm sure there's a bunch of reasons, I'm just saying.
So
that
but
was.
what I think is, I think we could all come together and come up with something better than this. That's what I'm saying. I'm not the only one here to complain about this.
No, it's
There's
not
other
that.
people about that. I mean, listen, I just don't want to get in a situation, Mayor, where you have a dead and dying tree and you're waiting 3 months for a permit and the thing
No,
goes through the lake
that's not
person's
gonna happen.
house.
Yeah, we don't want that.
No.
Okay?
either.
That,
Of course
we don't
not.
want that again,
Nope.
because that's how it was with the first,
Yeah.
situation. I think maybe you should just hold off on this, and I'll come wherever you want me to come, and we'll put something together. But first of all, the 100, that's too much money. That lady's not gonna be able to afford that. Those people living in Whispering Meadows not gonna be able to afford that. You know what I mean? I take down the developer planted all those trees in clay. They die all the time, up there all the time pulling those trees out. But they always plant new ones.
All right, well, okay.
But,
All right.
they shouldn't have to pay you a couple $100 to do that.
Okay,
I
let
don't
me.
think.
We're gonna call up anybody else that's from the shade tree that or had a hand in constructing this ordinance. Would you mind coming up and illuminating us a little more so we can clear all this up?
Ed DeFilia, 1020 Ramir Ave, Chair of the Ocean Township Environmental Commission. So for context on this ordinance, this is a project that we've been working on for well over 2 years at this point,
Right.
with many iterations of what you have before you. We've met with tree experts. We have looked at surrounding towns. We've looked at towns all over New Jersey to look at fee structure, to look at the diameter of the tree to cut down. We looked at our own ordinances, both our own tree ordinances for residents as well as our land development ordinances, which were not in sync with the diameter of tree that could come down. This ordinance, and what we've been trying to do, is find a way that we can stop the indiscriminate removal of trees throughout town. My biggest issue with our previous ordinance, both the one that we currently have and the one before that, is we actually have no tracking mechanism. We don't know how many trees have come down. We have anecdotal evidence at best. We know we lost some trees in Sandy. We know trees are coming down around town because we see them, and I'm sure that our tree expert friends here can tell you how many they've taken down if they go to their books, but they don't know how many their competitors are taking down. Our best bet at knowing what the tree loss in Ocean Township looks like comes from satellite imagery, and that is imperfect for what we're trying to do. Now, I've spoken to this council before, and I've spoken to residents, and I take a slightly different view than some of the other folks here who have been supporting this, is that I view trees as infrastructure, straight infrastructure, and that removing a tree to me is the same as ripping up a sidewalk or a piece of road. They clean our air, they deal with our stormwater. They're not just ornamental, they're not pretty, they're not just disposable. They are an important part of the infrastructure of Ocean Township. You want to call this a tree preservation ordinance, great. I call it an infrastructure preservation ordinance. And so we're trying to make sure that the infrastructure that we have left that is under threat, not just from folks taking down trees throughout town, but also through natural issues. As I've discussed before, the health of Joe Palea Park's forest, that the deer are destroying the understory. We're not getting enough new trees. We have invasive trees that are coming up in town. This is really critical that we find a way to preserve the trees that we have and encourage people to replant instead of just taking them down. So I know there's some other folks here who might want to say a word or two, so I'll defer the rest of my time to them. But This, for me, is all about infrastructure.
Okay, Ed, as to the content of the ordinance there and what they're bringing up as far as having to put an application every time you remove any tree, is that what it is? The application, there's a $100 application regardless if it's a tree you're replacing?
If you're taking down a tree,
Mhm.
and whether or not you're going to replace it, yes. If there's a tree that is dead, the tree has died, the tree has ceased to exist.
Right.
You're not paying a fee.
Right, okay, I just want to make
Yeah.
that clear, so I think there's a little misunderstanding about that part, that I think someone mentioned I have to pay $200 to remove a tree that I have on my property that's dead, and I'm gonna replace it, or I paid to buy it in the first place. I think that was the one woman's concern. I wanted to assuage her concerns that, no, she's not gonna be charged $200 to take a dead tree down that she planted. But, okay, so that's nowhere is that written in there?
That the trees are dead?
No, that you have to pay
No,
200.
if you read through the ordinance,
Yeah.
there are exceptions for emergency situations. There's exceptions for dead trees.
Right.
There are exceptions
Okay.
in there. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anybody else? All right, come on up. State your name and address for the record.
Thank you. My name is John Donnell, 22 Ben Lane, Cedar Village. I'm president of the Homeowners Association.
Hey, John.
Hi, Chris. Good to see you.
Good seeing you.
I didn't know about this today until I was talking with my counterpart, Don Trocchia from Rolling Meadows. I have a copy of this, the ordinance. As I went through it, first time quickly, and then studied a little more, and the more I studied it, the more confusing I find it. I read the general purpose first. Purpose isn't wonderful. The purpose is great. But it's really geared to developers who are going in and clear-cutting property, knocking everything down. Individual homeowners don't take trees down just for the fun of it. They take it down for a reason.
This side of the highway they do.
Well, I can tell you, in our homeowners association, I'm sure it's the same with Don's, we live by a set of rules and regulations, and we have some very strict ones concerning trees. The trees that were planted on people's property belong to the individual homeowner. They're the ones that are going to pay the $100 plus the other $100 plus whatever it is that is a little confusing in here. But they can't do that on their own unless they apply permission of the homeowners association to remove that tree. And we don't just go willy-nilly and have people remove trees. We have them take them down and have them replaced. And if sometimes they can't be replaced in the same spot because a tree doesn't grow there, another tree gets planted in a different spot. We have those rules and regulations in place. But yet, we seem to be the victims, the individual homeowner seems to be the victim of having to pay extra money to have a tree removed. And I think that's totally unfair. I think it's totally unfair. And maybe I'm reading something wrong here, but we talked about dead trees and dead trees not being included. 9-2.4, a tree removal permit shall be required for the removal of any deciduous tree with a DBH of 6 inches or more, or a coniferous tree with a height of 10 feet or more, including, number 1, trees that are dead or severely damaged by natural cause. So I've got to go out and pay $100 for a permit to have my dead tree taken away. That's not fair. That is not fair.
Right.
Don't hurt the small people. Go after the main target of what's taking trees down. Or people, and if you say, you all said I'm wrong, it's not people taking them down just for the fun of it, maybe I'm naive.
Come to Oakhurst. Come to Oakhurst.
Come to Oakhurst, okay. I can see where there are no controls in areas. And I don't want to take and talk about homeowners associations should have different privileges than anyone else. because then I'm going to get into a lot of other things that have been brought up before.
John, we're,
But-
not to cut you off, but we have a lot of other folks.
I know.
in-
But
I-
my point
Yeah.
being is, we've been taking care of this ourselves very well. Please, please do not put any more financial burden on our homeowners. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Anybody else? See, Mr. Brocco.
Don Brockle? Don Brockle, 710 Laurel Avenue, West Downhurst. John, it was, right, that just came up? West Downhurst is getting de-treed. Oakhurst is getting de-treed. All the towns getting de-treed. And it's individual homeowners. And these people can afford a fee. These guys are paying $1 million for homes, $700,000 for homes, and they're cutting down trees by the tens of thousands of dollars. And the tree guys know that. And to be honest with you, I think the trees guys, most of the tree guys in town do a great job, and they have to earn a living. And somebody comes up to them and says, I want my trees cut down. I can only do 4, I can do these little ones, and they do the best they can within the current regulation. Right now, regulation is 4 trees, no permit. Trees that I lived by all my life are now gone. Gone. 12, 13 trees. I used to shade my house, I shade my neighbor's house. I have the right to my greenery. I have the right to a cooler area. I have a right to stormwater retention of those trees. And not just my neighbor, but all the neighborhood. And we lost that. We're losing that fast. That's why this ordinance has been worked on for over 2 years. They've been working on this hard. And some of these tree guys were involved, some of them weren't. But they had the opportunity. But could modifications be made? Yes, down the road. But I think I urge the council to vote yes on this. If there's modifications to be needed to amend it a little bit down the road, let's do that. But we got to get this on the books. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Don. Anybody else? One more?
Diane Sermont, 192 Oakhurst Road. So my anecdotal evidence, which I've talked about here before, is that in the last 2 years, I can stand on the corner of my property and show you where 25 oak trees with a diameter of more than a foot have come down. And they've come down because people don't want leaves in their pool. And they don't want shade, too much shade, and they don't want to have to rake leaves at the end of the year. People that are here 10 weeks a year are taking away the environment that we live in 52 weeks a year. It's just, it's horrible. The other thing I want to say is about the fee, is that I don't see the contractors in here saying homeowners shouldn't have to pay a fee to have their electrical worked on, or shouldn't have a fee to do, shouldn't have an application fee for a sidewalk or a curbing, or any of that kind of stuff. So as the man who said that we have infrastructure, yeah, we have infrastructure and we should be taking care of it.
Great, thanks, Diane. Anybody else? Nope. Seeing and hearing no one, so we'll make a motion. Nope, one more.
Jack Mamie, 219 Maplewood Ave in Oakhurst. I am chair of the Green Team and a member of the EC and the Zoning Board as well. I think we need to get started on preserving the trees in town because we've been losing way too many, and we can see that the flooding issues are only getting worse. And I think we definitely need to just get started on it, and if I agree with Don, if we need to amend it going forward, we can do that. We've been working on this for over 2 years, and there's been a lot of back and forth input from many professionals, experts. We've looked at other towns, like Ed said earlier. So I think it's the right decision, and that's all I got.
Okay.
Come to Greenfest.
Okay, thank you. Sure, come on up, John.
So again, I'm John Smoley from 440 West Park Avenue. I just want to tell you, though, that you really can't implement this thing unless you hire an arborist.
We are.
Okay, but
Yeah, and
you
that's where the permits are
You
going.
can't put it forward, and you can't vote on it without somebody in service.
We have one.
Oh, you have one, a certified arborist?
Yeah.
At Town Hall?
Doesn't have to live in town hall.
No, but he has to work. He has to be stationed here. He has to work for the town.
He has to be a contractor or work for the town. He does.
Really?
Yep.
That's great. You guys can't even get out of the permit. How long does it take to get a regular permit?
All right. Anybody else? Are you coming up, Wilma, or are you? Okay. Didn't know if you were changing chairs.
Okay, my name is Wilma Wright. I live at 74 Cedar Village Boulevard. I am known in my town, in my development, as the tree lady. I'm also the vice president of the association. I have been working on these trees for the last 12 years since I've lived there. I worked with the developer when we had to replace the trees. We have put in over almost 700 trees in our development to replace what the developer put in that was not supposed to have been put in there in the first place. I worked with Jim Higgins. We worked very carefully with our arborist to put the trees in. We worked with our landscaper to put a number of trees in as well. My question for you is, A, what am I supposed to do if I am required in my development to take care of the property, the common areas and stuff, the trees? Am I supposed to pay $200 a tree for everything that's in common property? I have 2 big oak trees right now that have no canopy. It was twisted off in the January storm. The canopy is laying on the ground. Do I have to put in a permit for that, to take care of that? Do
Sounds
I
like
have
they're
to
dead.
put
That's
in-
a dead tree.
Well, it's not living if the canopy's
Right,
laying on
so
the
that
ground.
falls under a
Do
dead
I have
tree,
to put in, when our landscaper puts trees in and they're under warranty and they're dead, do I have to pay a permit to have them take the same tree out? I mean, this is very unclear. I have a, 42, I don't remember right off the second how many acres of property I have to deal with. And this is totally confusing me reading that document, which I didn't get until about 5 o'clock this afternoon. I have 295 homeowners whose properties I have to take care of. So I need to know what my obligations are, and if I have to pay $200 for every tree that's diseased or dead or falling apart in that development, then I'm going to have to raise my maintenance fees on my homeowners to be able to pay for it. So I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about 295 homeowners
Right.
that I represent. And your document that you have is very unclear right now. So I am left with some trees that need to be taken out or need to be trimmed, and now I don't know whether I'm legally able to go ahead and do that, or if I have to listen to a bunch of homeowners screaming at me because I haven't done it yet. So you have put me in a very difficult position right now, and I don't like being in that kind of a position.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Wilma. Marty, from what you've read there and the concerns from these developments, is there ambiguity in there that has to be cleaned up, or is it pretty straightforward? Here's what it is, here's what it isn't.
No, I mean, I think there is some ambiguity in here, and the question is whether or not, really, it's sort of 2 questions. Number 1, or two alternatives. Do you want to put this off and vote for 30 days, or do you want to vote, pass it, and then work out the issues that are of concern, like immediately thereafter, to see if we need to amend it? So those, I think, are the 2 choices, because I think there are, some concerns that are legitimate.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like those homeowner associations that absolutely know where they stand, so they can discuss it at their meetings.
Right.
And they can put memos out, and they understand when they do remove, replace, take one out, a dead tree, a replacement tree. I mean, it's a shame for them to be that confused about it. That's all I'm saying. I know that we've worked hard on it, and I don't want to see it delayed either in that regard, but it's got to be right. I mean, just got to be right.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. So,
I mean, it's taken 2 years to get here, and another 30
Understood.
days, to be honest with you, is not going to be the end of the world. But,
well,
that's
I'm
up to the
hoping we get
council.
one more shot, clear it up in the next, let's get it cleared up immediately, and so we can hold this maybe and we can vote on it at the next meeting.
Right, but I think what we need to do is get the involvement of some of the people who are here tonight, because that was really what we were attempting to do initially, and because I know I had that concern, and that's why, Mr. Armstrong was involved, and so...
I don't think the bulk of this is going to change, though. It's just sort of, it's clarifications. I agree there's
I
some
don't either.
ambiguity about the homeowners associations. I
Yes.
think that needs to be cleared up, but I don't think the fees, the numbers, the general structure of the ordinance is going to change after this, at this point.
I would agree, and since the ordinance doesn't take effect for 20 days, we have more than enough time. Pass it today, come back. John, guys, if you want to have a conversation, let's have, yes, it did.
Excuse me,
John,
excuse me.
with all
let
due
him
respect, this has been going on for 2 years. Where have you been? Look, you're in the business, John.
Excuse me, John, you said you were at a meeting.
It is on the website.
You said you were at a meeting.
We
wait,
took
I mean,
into,
Okay.
John, everybody,
we took into
quorum
account.
here. We're in it's a town meeting, all right? We don't have to do this.
You
All right.
came to a meeting and you expressed your concerns about an issue on the weekend. So about weekend, doing work on the weekends, and we took that out.
There are prejudices against people from New York and stuff like that. We need to postpone this and have it a little clearer so I can get some other residents in here, okay? Because there's not enough people in here to voice their opinion about what you're doing.
So-
I'll get something for you.
So, Mr. Mayor, I would recommend that we move forward, pass the ordinance, and with all due respect to John and the rest of the people that are here that are against it, you have 20 days before we need to come back.
Here's what's gonna
The meeting is
happen.
within 20 days.
Anybody else wishing to be heard on the ordinance? We're still open. No? Okay, hearing or seeing no one? Okay. We can't even move on it until we close the public hearing. That's all I'm saying, Don.
Yeah, I know. Don Brockligan, 710 Laurel Avenue. And I agree with you. I hear the issues with the homeowner, and I assume that could be easily ramified with a couple paragraph changes, small.
Right.
And I implore you
Hopefully.
guys to vote on this, because 30 days more, we're gonna have more trees down, and we have to stop this bloodshed. And that's what it is, a bloodshed. And to be honest, we're gonna have trees. Guys are gonna have trees to trim. Trimming trees is okay. You don't need a permit to trim a tree, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. Now, following our decorum here, anybody else wishing to be heard? John, we heard from you twice, brother. I know we got another John coming up. Okay. All right.
John Donnell again. I'm just going to say, in answer to the gentleman who just spoke, if you understand there are confusions, why don't you take the 30 days? 30 days
We'll take
is
20
nothing.
days, John. We'll take 20 days. Because
Oh,
before
30
the ordinance,
days, 20 days.
Well, right, so if
Do
you're
it
willing to do
right
30,
up
we'll do
front.
20.
Be correct up front. It's this, things that are done, passed, and then changed in some other way that is hard to understand, does not give us the confidence in frankly, in the people who run this township.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
So,
Thank you.
Please,
Thank you, John.
please.
We're going to get to closing the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Naplatani? Oh, John left the meeting. Siciliano?
Yes. All right. Action, please, on ordinance 2381.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2381.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
No. Okay. The ordinance, though, has been passed nonetheless, right?
Mr. Mayor, if I can also encourage the manager to work with the Shade Tree Commission, the Environmental Commission, with Margie, to, as soon as possible, update whatever answer whatever questions that the tree experts have, the residents have, within the next 20 days, prior to obviously it being implemented, and then bringing it back to the next meeting for whatever modifications we need to take.
Yeah, I mean,
Just to be aware that the next meeting's April 28th, so that's in 14 days.
Okay.
And,
but I mean, if these are that simple of fixes, we should be able to knock it out. I mean, if somebody just needs to re-review it and make sure that we're not ambiguous about whether this young lady here loses a tree that she already paid for, it's dead, does she have to pay a permit fee? These things have to be resolved. They have to know where they're standing. The homeowners associations, they got to be able to tell their residents what they can and can't do. They're contractors. You know, they're spring cleanup guys. They need to know all this. These guys here that work for a living need to know what they can and can't do so they can start telling their customers, hey, here's what's coming, here's what we can do, here's what we can't do, here's what you can expect. I mean, they need to be able to get the word. It's what they do for a living.
You have to come up here, or else it doesn't get picked up.
He's done.
Listen, you guys just voted on your thing, right? You just voted. Yeah, I said goddamn. Yeah, you
No,
heard
that's
me?
not what I'm
Okay,
saying, John.
All right. So
We've
listen,
already-
I'm not trying to hear what you're saying. All you're doing is gun-ho to vote this thing through. It's not right.
Okay, we're gonna change it. We
You're
just
gonna
said we're gonna
change it?
take 14 days.
Yeah, you're gonna change it.
You're gonna come to the meetings?
Yeah, I'll come to the meeting. I'll
Beautiful.
come to
We'll
every
invite you.
meeting.
We will invite you to the
Okay.
meetings and say your piece.
Right.
Whatever changes you feel are important, well, I'm sure the people that are making the adjustments will look at it.
Right.
In the meantime, I ask you guys to submit something if you have it.
Yeah, we'll put
Send
something together
Send
for
a
you.
paragraph or two, what you think also, and then we'll see what's out there. But submit it.
Just
You-
like all the other things in this town, and you guys are just sweeping it under the rug, right? I know you're sitting there smug and smiling. That's why you're not the mayor. Nobody voted for you.
Right, that's it, John.
That's it. Right.
All right. Anyway, we're past that ordinance. Tonight for introduction, we have two more ordinance. Ordinance 2382. Jesse, would you read the title, please?
A bond ordinance providing for the acquisition of real property located at Block 159, Lot 1 on the tax map of the Township of Ocean, appropriating $2,100,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,900,000 of bonds and notes to finance a portion of the costs thereof, authorized in and by the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, New Jersey.
Great. Somebody please introduce ordinance 2382 for introduction only.
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2382.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. And that'll have its public hearing also at 428. And also for introduction 2383. Jesse, would you read the title, please?
Amending and supplementing Chapter 21 of the Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance, amending Section 21-9A.3 definitions and Section 21-51 standards of approval of conditional uses and subsection 21.51.33 placement of telecommunications facilities.
Great. Someone please introduce 2383.
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2383.
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. That'll also have its public hearing on 428. Jesse, 2384, would you read the title, please?
An ordinance amending Chapter 26 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Ocean, 1965, entitled Flood Damage Prevention, in its entirety.
Great. Someone introduce ordinance 2384.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2384.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. And that too will have its public hearing on 428.
Yeah.
And finally, we have ordinance 2385. Jesse, would you read the title, please?
An ordinance providing for the street vacation of Poplar Place in the Township of Ocean, County of Monmouth, State of New Jersey.
Okay.
I make a motion to introduce sorry, Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
I make a motion to introduce ordinance 2385.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. And that too will have its public hearing on 428. At this time, anybody has anything germane to Ocean Township business, now's the time to step up to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. And be mindful of our clock here. Rob's been trying to get to work. And we're going to have one shot at 5 minutes, which we've kind of strayed off of a little bit today for this heated discussion. Okay.
My
Yes.
name is Linda Law. I'm the homeowner at 102 Cold Indian Springs Road, directly across from the Hudsley home, and our property is adjacent to the pond that you guys have been discussing purchasing, the ordinance, which we'll be back on the 28th to talk more to. However, I wondered, because the minutes to the special meeting that you had on February 19th were published in here, if I could speak to that, since we were unavailable due to a funeral that day.
Anything germane to Ocean Township business?
Okay, so I'm very curious, what is the plan to use? I've had information from the township. Mr. Kirk has said that it is going to be purchased to be a passive park. Mayor, you know, we've had multiple conversations, and every time we're told of a different use. This meeting we were not at, our neighbors, who were also there and very concerned about this, said that now it's going, that you guys want to use the water for rec purposes. I think you may have seen the pictures I sent you that look out of my family room window. There is not one window on my first floor, except for my dining room, that is not direct view of that water. So the ability for us to use our property and maintain our privacy is going to be blown because this is going to become public use. We also don't think that this pond is safe. The Huxleys never let anybody that lives there now use it because they're concerned about safety. So we're wondering what is the current status of what you guys think you're going to use this property for. And we also want to reiterate our concerns about getting a traffic survey done and an environmental impact study because almost every time I pull out of our drive by Kepwell, it's right in that intersection between Cold Indian and Bound.
Yep.
I have to make sure I use my blinker so people don't pull out in front of me.
Yeah.
It's a real hazard, and the
dangerous.
more traffic that's there, because if it's going to become a public park, it's a real consideration. And all of our neighbors have children. Ours are grown, so I'll let you guys answer if you can, and we'll.
So yeah, we met, and of course we met. I met you folks and a couple of your neighbors, and at that time discussed very passive recreation. Council would like to see a little more use, but not as intense. It's a small park. It's limited parking. We couldn't have the intensity of any other park under any circumstance. The use of the ingress, egress that you guys enjoy now is not what we're using. We wouldn't use that at all. To be down by where the pillars are, where Huxley's come in now. We talked about putting a small parking area, maybe, I don't know, if we can get 6 to 8 cars there, would be a lot. So, which would really limit the use of it. There's a playground we want to install there that's really more towards special needs kids and anybody else, but it kind of helps. Someone's going to pay for that, which is nice, but that's offset in the back where I don't know that you can see it from where you are, but you do sit up high enough. You have pretty good
Well, there's a
pretty
lot
good
of
vistas
homes
there.
that
Yeah.
are right adjacent to their property. So
Yeah.
I don't know if any of them are unaware of this yet because there hasn't been a public notice,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come out when they get the notice. They'll be curious and they'll want to know as well what can and can't be done.
right.
There was talk about maybe putting the canoes or something as part of recreation program in the water, supervised with rec counselors, not something open to the public. Rent a canoe and go float out into the lake. Anything we do there will really be recreation driven or program driven.
Right.
And that kind of controls, except for the playground on the weekend. Somebody may use that playground on a Saturday or Sunday, but we don't see the intense use that, and I know you guys, you're back there because you enjoy your privacy.
That's
right?
why we bought that property.
I get it, and it's obvious, but, so that's the best I can tell you. I don't think anything's going to happen there for a little while. It'll be at least a year and a half before we're
Well, that also
physically on the
concerns
ground.
us because as we approach retirement, we want to be able to sell our property
Yeah.
and it will be
You'll
encumbered
have
in all
time.
of this. Well, the other part of that is, and I think I spoke with Mr. Brown, or it might have been Mr. Kirk, the day that there were people out there trying to, I'm losing my
Survey?
word, survey,
Survey.
all over our property.
Yeah,
And
apologize for that. I'm so very sorry because you should have at least got notice that someone was
well,
coming
that's
out.
the concern also because my
100%.
husband travels a lot for work, and if I see strange people walking around my property, I'm going to call the cops.
Right, and we
because
discussed that.
That's
Let
frightening.
Mr. Brown know that anybody goes out on the property for
We
survey.
did talk. It was
Yeah,
you,
thank
Mr.
you.
Brown.
Yep.
Thank you. No, and I appreciated your response. So the other part of that is where the stakes are now from that survey, it looks like our property goes into the water. So how do we then have a say on you guys using water for public use?
Well, I mean, you have a say for
There's
what...
a maintenance easement that
Yeah.
using the water is not maintenance.
No, maintenance easements for what it just, exactly what it is.
Right.
I think we're told by our engineer that your property doesn't go into the water, it goes up to the water. But from what Mr. Blass said, it doesn't actually go into the water.
Well, you're welcome to come and look where the sticks are that they
Okay.
placed.
All right.
So, and we are, I guess, going to have our own survey done as well as
Certainly.
get attorneys once you guys, can I have one more question since you were speaking also? If we did tell you guys about our concerns about people coming down our driveway already and walking through our property because they think they can access the pond and fish there, that we very politely tell people, this isn't public land, you're going to have to leave, but we fear, all 4 homes in there, fear that that's going to escalate. And the other thing, there was another thing. I don't know, I forget, but I'll make sure that all my neighbors are at the 28th that can be here because it's a real concern.
Yeah.
It's actually really affecting my mental health and my neighbor's mental health, because every time I walk into my family room, I think, oh God, this is gone now once people start using this water. We don't have a problem with it being a passive park. We have a problem with the water being used, because that's what's going to really directly impact our privacy. So, thank you for listening.
All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Diane Sarmont, 192 Oakhurst Road. I wouldn't even prepare to talk about this because I didn't realize it was on the agenda. But I had thought about it previously, and I'm hoping that when you have the public discussion, you've got prepared not only what it's going to cost us to buy the property outright, but what we're going to lose as far as income when it's no longer on the tax rolls, and what we're going to have to pay to maintain the property, because that's all part of the big picture.
Yeah, it's always a consideration. But if you look at it right now, I think that property is assessed at maybe close to 2 million, Diane. Municipal tax portion of that property, it's about $8,000 a year. Not a big loss for such a great gain, in my eyes. I mean, it's
And
a
just remember,
tremendous gain.
the balance of the property is still going to be used and owned with taxes being paid
Yeah.
on the
You know, there's a,
Capwell water.
yep. 100%. We always calculate the cost as much as possible. But anybody else from the audience? No. No problem. Hang on a second. Okay.
Stephen Gaudet, 2602 Appleby Drive. From the personal sense, the traffic issue on Appleby is getting to a point where my neighbors have had cars hit. My car was almost totaled about 4 or 5 weeks ago. We have no control over who's coming down and what's coming through. I understand this is some conversation about speed bumps in the town. I know speed bumps have a lot of other issues to go with it, but we need to work something out to reduce the amount of cut-through traffic that comes down that street. Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, these would be temporary speed bumps rolled out in April and rolled back up in, before the snow panel began, but at least a deterrent during the heavy use times.
If we put a speed trailer on both sides of the street, it'll start to slow them down too.
That too. All right, thank you. All right, seeing here nobody else, I'm going to make a motion to close. I want to thank you all for coming out and joining us tonight. Have a great Passover and a great Easter, everybody. Someone please make a motion to close.
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
Ajara?
Yes.
Donlin?
Yes.
Fisher?
Yes.
Siciliano?
Yes. Meeting adjourned. Have a great holiday weekend, everybody.